Okay, concept check 1.3. Oops. All right, so first one is define opportunity costs. They give an example of how opportunity costs affects financial decision making. So what is opportunity cost? It's the cost of a decision measured by the value of the next best alternative that you're giving up. So the trade-off that you make when you make a purchase. A good example here, not necessarily related to making a purchase, but uh, your employer offers you overtime. So, it's completely up to you. If, it's not, if there's, the only thing you lose if you decline it is that income. But when you make the decision to go to work or stay at work for those extra hours and get time and a half or whatever that may be, you're giving up the opportunity to do something else, to spend your time doing something else, and that is an opportunity cost. So or if you chose to stay at home, the the income that you're giving up in that overtime would be an opportunity cost. Uh, Next is explain and give an example of how marginal analysis makes some financial decisions easier. Imagine, think of there are two investments that are equally risky, and you like both of them, except one of them offers a higher return. So that would the that investment would be marginally better, marginally more beneficial to you. Next one is describe and give an example of how income taxes can affect financial decision making. The best example there is, we'll talk about it all semester long, is your 401k, your retirement plan. You're putting that money away, saving for the future. When you do so, you don't pay taxes. It comes straight off the top of your income. You don't pay taxes until you use that money. So that's a great benefit. As opposed, we saw that, I think it was figure 1.4, that where the benefits of saving on a pre-tax versus an after-tax basis are considerable. So, learning objective 1.4, they perform time value of money calculations for financial decision making. There, just a note. There'll be a separate lecture in this. I'm going to talk through this, but there will be a separate lecture, and I will work through using the BA2 plus to calculate the various calculations in this chapter. So, time value of money addresses two questions about money. So, the first is, what will an investment or series of investments be worth after a period of time? This question is referring to asking for a future value. And then secondly, how much do I have to put away today or in a series of investments to provide some amount of money in the future? This asks for a present value. So both of those are important. We will do both of those calculations this semester. In the beginning here, we're gonna do two types of future values. So, compounding, compound interest, they occurs when you leave interest in an account and it earns additional interest. So interest on interest. Compound interest is the key to building wealth, and we'll see this in some examples coming up. Future value of a lump sum. is the value of an asset projected at the end of some period of time. So these are table 1.1 is what we call interest rate factors. These so this is for future value of $1. So to these calculations, we're going to use the calculator to do most of them. The but it's actually a fairly simple formula as well. So for example here, you would whatever dollar value you had, you would multiply it by the factor. But so the 1 year, for example, at 8%. Let's see if I can get my thing. Come on. So 1 plus 0.08, so that would be 8%. So for 1 year, it would be just 1.08 to the first power. For 10 years, it's going to be 1.08 to the 10th power. So, so if you that's fairly simple formula. If you don't necessarily want to use a financial calculator for these types of calculations, you can do so. We Factors are the old-fashioned way of doing things. We use not we. This is actually before my time, but the in the past, the financial calculators weren't readily available. So as a result, people used tables with factors on them. There were tables that would calculate for the future values, present values, payments, and so forth. And it simplified things. But in today's world, since you can buy a financial calculator for $30, it's it's a very good idea to have one and have those, use those skills. So, or develop those skills, I guess a better way to say it. So, all right, so we'll start the next lecture with the importance of higher yields and time.